Buenos días a todos. Me alegro de estar aquí hoy para su conferencia y espero que estén en buena forma. This was all I could say in Spanish. I'm very glad to be here. And I want to thank you, Mariana, for introducing me. And I also want to thank Alberto Ramirez, who invited me to speak today at your conference. I understand that I'm the first speaker of this conference, and it's an honor for me to be here together with you. I will share with you my presentation about soft skills. Yes, they are in fact the actuary's better half, and you will see why. So if we would be in a normal room, in a conference room, I would be looking at you all and I would kind of know, if you are happy, if you are tired, if you are interested. But now it's very difficult for me to see that, what's going on right now. So that's why I'm asking you, if you look inside of you and you're thinking about your inner battery, how full is your battery right now, so that I can get an indication of the energy level that you have as a group. It helps me then in my presentation, because for you, it's in the morning. For me, it's at the end of the day. And actually yesterday I had a party and I went to bed at 2. So my energy level is a little bit lower than I expected today. So it looks pretty good. I see that you're still voting. And there are more than 50% so far, from what I can see, over 71%. So it's pretty good. And you are still voting. It's important to manage your energy level during the day, even now when you are studying, and even later when you will be working. There may be days when you will have a lot of things to do, stressful projects and stressful deadlines. But it's important to notice, where am I? How much energy do I have? If you go back home every evening with, a little bit like something like 15%, there are maybe things that you should be changing, because when you go back home, well, nowadays it's when you log out, because I guess most of you are still sitting at home and maybe studying from home. But if at the moment when you log out, you realize you almost have no energy left, and this goes on and on and on for days and weeks, then I suggest that you look at what you can do to make sure that you have more energy when you log out. There are maybe some things that you should change, some other friends that you need to see that will give you energy at that time. So I think we can stop the poll and we can show I think I have even the right to do that. So yes, in fact, it's about 60-something% over 71% of energy level. And I think this is really good. I see a few of you under 30. Just be careful. But I have a good idea of what the vibe of the room is, and I'm very happy for that. So I'll talk a little bit about me, because yes, it's one path that I did. There were many curves. There were some falls as well. They say you win some, you learn some. And I am originally from Canada, actually from Montreal. So my native language is French. And for many, many years, I used to do figure skating. So figure skating taught me resilience, it taught me discipline, it taught me to exercise regularly. And I still need that. My body needs that. You may be wondering, what does it have to do with actuarial science? Well, it has a lot to do, because when you need to study, sometimes you need to take a break, breathe some fresh air, get out, move the body so that you don't stay only in your head. And it's the same thing when you will be working. And I studied mathematics in Montreal. So I learned that the sum of 2 plus 2 lies somewhere between 3 and 5. Very easy. I love mathematics. And I guess it's the same thing for you. When I was finished with my studies in mathematics, I moved to Germany. And there I worked for Hannover Re. Hannover Re is the third largest reinsurance companies in the world. Actually, they have a branch in Mexico City. So that may be something interesting for you at some point. And for many years, I worked in the non-life sector, calculating all kinds of reserves, especially on the liability side, which has the long tail. And I started when I was doing this job. This is when I started to be a leader. I had a small team. After a few years, I had a small team of 5 people. And the very nice thing at the moment when I was working at Hannover in the 90s, is that the company was growing all the time. So there were possibilities all the time to just develop with new softwares, with new ideas. We had a lot of freedom as a reinsurance company as well. So for an actuary, it was really a great place to be. After I think 8 years in Germany, I moved to Sweden, even more up north, and there it was really cold. I'm not sure that you would like this, but as a Canadian, it was okay for me from that side. And there I got to learn the consultancy side of things. I work for 3 different companies. I work for something called Försäkringsmatematik. It means mathematics for insurance. I also work for PricewaterhouseCoopers and for a small company called HRS. Now they are Willis Towers Watson in Stockholm. There I work especially in the pension side of things. I was coordinating pension liability calculations for a large multinational according to IS 19. So, I went from non-life, from PNC to pension, which I think in some countries don't really work. But because Sweden is small and they need actuaries, and actuaries need to be very versatile in what they are doing. So I was kind of lucky to learn to go from PNC to pension. So after 8 years in Sweden, I went back to Germany. And there I worked for 15 months in the internal audit department. It was a very nice experience to do. It was very different. I think that during the 15 months, I rarely opened an Excel spreadsheet. I rarely did any kind of calculation, because mostly what I was auditing were the processes in the different departments, in the actuarial departments, in the risk management departments as well. And that's the time also when I was wondering, I want to lead a team, a larger team. I want to be a leader, and I want to work within risk management and leave a little bit the quantitative side. You may think this is strange. Yes, but this was my wish. This is how I felt. I want to learn something different. I want to feel that my career is more complementary compared to what I had done before, because my analytical skills and my understanding of numbers didn't go away. I was bringing all that with me, but to work and to look at the business from another angle, from a more qualitative angle and from a risk management point of view. The fun thing at the time, when in 2009, 2010 it was, I became head of operational risk and risk reporting. What was exciting at the time is that Hanover, it was my employer again, was trying to get a certification for their internal model in the context of this Solvency II regulations. I guess maybe some of you heard about Solvency II. And we had many discussions with the regulators. We had many things also that we needed to put in place, different guidelines, different regulations. We had needed to have an internal model also for modeling the operational risk. So it was a time when there were many things to be implemented within the company. And it was the time also during which we needed to implement a risk management organization through the entire Hanover group. And I had the chance through that to travel almost all around the world and to visit many, many different offices of Hanover. I was in Bermuda, in Ireland, in Korea, in Malaysia, in Bogota, in Orlando. I was in many, many places visiting all these companies, getting to know a network within the whole group, because to have a network where you are working, it's very, very important. So, and it was in 2016 that I decided to leave Hanover and to start my own company that is called CG4. And with this, I'm coaching, I'm mentoring actuaries, risk managers, and leaders within the insurance and the finance sectors. And I call it a H2H business, a human to human business. So I'm looking at the human side of things within organizations and also when I coach people. I did a certification to become a coach. It's according to HBT method, the Human Balance Training Method. I'm also a member of the German Speakers Association. I'm an associate member of the Swedish Actuarial Society, Svenska Aktuarieföreningen. And I now live in Portugal. And actually, I've been living here for 2 years. I don't speak Portuguese very well. I think I understand more Spanish than I understand Portuguese. And there is a very, very simple reason for that. I wanted to be in a place where I see the sun more often than when I was living in the north of Europe. And I can also from here, I can swim in, I can swim in my pool even with my dress on. This is what I had done in my Christmas video last year. So this is about me, about my path. And I speak 4 languages fluently: French, English, German, and Swedish. Portuguese is in the making. I understand a bit of Spanish and a bit of Italian too. So here, another small thing about my journey. In November 2018, I was somewhere that will be familiar to many of you. I was in Ciudad de Mexico, and I was there because my partner, he's actually in the board of the Aston committee. And they had a meeting there, and I went there with him. We had a really great time there, visiting the town, the city. Actually, and unfortunately, I didn't have the time to visit further away from downtown, but I liked it very, very much. And here are other pictures. A few pictures of this is when I was working at Hanover. We did a seminar in Bangkok about risk management for some clients. This was me during the International Congress of Actuaries in Berlin 2018, here at the European Congress of Actuaries in Lisbon in 2019. Alberto was there. And here it was in Moscow in October 2019. I spoke there to the Russian Association of Actuaries. This was when, we would travel and meet people for real before this whole virtual thing. So a lot about me now. You have a good idea. I hope so. I hope that it inspires you that it's possible to have a journey like that. So let's get into the topic of soft skills. So you want to become an actuary? I guess it's because you love numbers, you love structure, you were good in maths and some stuff like that. And it's because you surely want to calculate all sorts of things. Maybe you want to program stochastic models, to perform sensitivity analysis, to optimize portfolio allocations, to prove some theory maybe, to solve complex problems, to research new methods maybe, and maybe for many, many more other reasons, like there are so many new topics, data science, blockchain, and artificial intelligence, and so on. So there are so many topics to choose from for you. I believe that when I finished university, it was not as wide as it is today. So when you will start to work, this is what you think you will be doing, and I'm sure it will happen. And this is what you want to do as well. One thing that happens when you start to work, you realize that you work with people, and some people, they are helpful. Others, they are competitive. They may not be so helpful. Interesting. No? You work with processes, and it can be you are in an organization where everything is very, very strict. Everything is implemented and perfect, but it can be that you are somewhere else where you need to yourself with maybe another team to implement these processes. This is another story. You maybe you will be working in an organization that is conservative, or maybe in a new company where everything is very dynamic. There's a lot of freedom. It's very things are moving fast. Things are maybe not so well organized, but it's just different. And there will be rules and guidelines too, where you will be working, maybe very thin guidelines and maybe very, very big guidelines when we think about Solvency II as an example. I don't know what is exactly the regulation in your country that is similar to that, but I guess it has also many, many pages. So all these things, people, processes, organization, rules and guidelines, they have something to do with we human beings, with how we behave, what our attitudes are. And this is like, everybody says it's the soft stuff. That's the stuff, in fact, that is difficult maybe to master, because this is not what you are right now being trained for. It's the stuff that is hidden. It's not the first thing you think about when you start a job, or the first job at least, And these soft skills, the stuff that we don't see, we're thinking about communication, about leadership, about growing and learning mindset, the work ethic, critical thinking, teamwork, attitude. And we can say that they complement or they support the other skills. We'll call them the hard skills. And they are like all the technical skills that you are learning, your degrees, your certifications, and the references, and so on. So we'll get into more detail on what we don't see, what is under the iceberg. So if we started, it's when you will start working, you will want for sure your ideas to be heard. And I'm sure that not only when you will start working, it's the same thing right now when you're studying. You want your ideas to be heard. You want, if you write any kind of reports or paper, you want them to be read. I mean, you don't write this so that they end up being thrown away or ignored. You want also the results that you produce, you want them to be understood by the people you send it to. So because your work matters, what you say, what you do, what you think, what you calculate, it does matter, but it needs to come across, you know. So soft skill number one here is about communication. And this is, you know, if we think about actuaries, if we think about numbers, we think about mathematics, about models. So maybe you like more numbers than you like words, and communication is maybe more about the words. You need to find a good place, and you need to be aware of that topic at all. Because, you know, it's not enough to think. I wrote it in my report. It's written on page 7 in my report. Or it's not enough to think, well, I said it during my presentation last week, or I said it during the meeting. It is not enough to think, you know, I wrote it in my email 6 weeks ago. It's not enough to think that you send a message out in the universe and that, you know, maybe one day it will fall on the head of someone who will understand it. No, it's not enough. When you produce a piece of communication, you are responsible that the people who receive that communication, they understand. So you need to make sure that the message gets into the heads and into the hearts of those who receive your piece of communication. May it be in a written form, may it be in a presentation, whether virtually or in a normal conference room. So this is, I'm telling you, this is what I call the Minjo wisdom. The message needs to get in, not just out. I said it. It's not enough to just think, whew, it's out and I don't mind who will understand it. You need to make sure that your audience or the recipients of your communication will understand that the message gets in. And communication, it's not only about what you communicate, but it's very much also about how you communicate it. It's about the package. Does the package needs to be that it's well received? Because you will see, maybe in the first day you will start working, you won't be working maybe with the CFO, but you will surely see during your career that the CFO, he or she doesn't want to see all the details of your calculation. He or she will want to see a summary because he has so many other things to do. So maybe you worked very, very hard on a project for 2 months or 3 months. And at the end of the day, you send a report and there's an executive summary for that. So you need to make sure that this summary is clear for the recipient. At the same time, if one day you would be doing a presentation, let's say for you work at an insurance company and you do a presentation for the sales representative. Well, for sure, they don't know anything. They don't know much about mathematics, and they won't like to see any kind of mathematical symbols. Even for us, the very simple sigma for the sum symbols, it's easy for us. It's like a normal language, but it's not for other people. So you need to be careful when you use formulas, mathematical symbols. It's always fine when you are speaking with other actuaries, but when you speak to non-actuaries, when you present something to non-actuaries, you need to check what is their level of actuarial knowledge. So there's another thing very important in communication, and it is about the fact that I don't know if you remember what axioms are. Axioms. Well, I guess Yeah, yeah. For me, I needed to think about it a bit longer because I thought that there were axioms only in mathematics. Axioms, are things that cannot be proved. They're just taken for what they are. And actually, there is a communication theorist. His name was Paul Václavic, and he found out, he defined 5 communication axioms. Actually, the first one is one cannot not communicate. If I would be, and with that, he means that, if I would be here, and I'm like this, I didn't say one word. I didn't say one word, but my body language showed you I'm not interested, or maybe I'm sad. I don't feel like it. So I did not say anything. Still, I communicated. This is what he means with one cannot not communicate. So this was the first axiom, but I want to come to the second one because I don't want to do too much theory here. And the second axiom is in every communication has a content and a relationship aspect. We often think, at least this is how I was when I started to work, I thought every time I communicate, it's about the content. And it is part, of course, about the content, but I need to make sure the people, if I want to be successful with my communication, it's easier if I have a good relationship with the recipients of my communication, because this is what he means here. He means that it's the relationship aspect that determines the content aspect. Easily said. You have a good connection with your audience or with your colleagues, with the recipients of your communication, it will be easy to agree on the content. It's the other way around. You have conflicts with them, it will be difficult to agree on the content. I don't know if I think the more and more I look at this axiom, the more and more I think about that, the more and more I realize it is so true. I know that you're still studying, but think about that, reflect on that for you now. Is it like this that, it's easier to agree on stuff with people that I like, I feel comfortable with, and it's in fact more difficult to agree on stuff with people I don't really like. There may be something there. And actually, when you are with people that you like, that you feel comfortable with, you can even at some point agree to disagree. This is my opinion. This is your opinion. I respect this. I respect you. I respect this. Let's agree to disagree. So reflect on that. Is it really so for you that it's easier to agree on stuff with people that you like, and it's more difficult with people that you don't like? So this was about the communication axioms of my friend Paul Václavic. And I will start a second poll here. And the question is, what do you think? When you think about you, well, maybe you did have summer jobs and stuff. What do you think could be a challenge for you when you communicate your results to other people who are not actuaries? Maybe you would choose different, not only one answer here, but what is maybe the biggest challenge that you see, or maybe that you have already experienced? Because sometimes maybe you explain to friends what you are doing, and they're like, what's that? It's too complicated for me. Or I would never want to do something like that. Or you talk and talk and talk, and then you just realize you never understand anything. So it's it's pretty, there are not so many differences. I thought there would be maybe options that would not be chosen at all. Hmm? And the half of you have voted so far. I'll wait a little bit more. I give all the details, and it's difficult for me to make an impact. Or I need to explain over and over again, and still they don't get it. I don't have much time to prepare. Maybe I'm very stressed. Maybe I have a lot to do. I'm very nervous when I hold a presentation. This is so normal. This is so normal. Don't worry about that. The thing is, this nervousness should not ruin your presentation, but to have a bit of, to feel the nerves, I think it's positive in some, up to a certain level. And the last option is, I'm not confident that my ideas and calculation can make an impact. So I think that it's pretty quiet now. Not so many people are voting. I'll wait a little bit. I see some answers coming in. It was a long, yeah, perfect. Yes, with almost 30%, we have A and D. I give all the details, and it's difficult for me to make a summary of my analysis. Maybe you know this already. And I'm nervous when I hold a presentation. As I told you, this is normal. Last week, I held a presentation for the International Association of Actuaries, and you should have seen me before. This was not very nice. I was very, very nervous. Then we have 20%. I need to explain over and over again, and still they don't understand. With 14%, I'm not confident. We're talking about confidence here. And with 8%, I don't have much time to prepare my reports. Here, when we think about that, about the time, we can always think about, is it you who are not very good at managing your time? Or is it just that maybe the environment where you work or where you will be working, they give you tight deadlines? This was just a big question now to ask. Thank you so much for answering that. I will continue here. And here I just have for you, like, one day when you will be working, maybe not the first day, but you will be in meetings, with different people. And let's say you will be the one presenting something. So this is you. And I here took the freedom to imagine that these people around the table, they are from other departments. So we have the IT person, the accounting person, investment and marketing. As I said, probably the first years, maybe you will mostly work with actuaries within your department, but at some point you will expand and you will work in different teams. So it won't really be a good idea to talk about the Pareto distribution with the accounting people, or to use any kind of very complicated formulas with the marketing people. So you will always need to find a common level of knowledge. So you'll need to ask yourself, who are these people I will be speaking with? Are they actuaries or are they no actuaries? This is at least very easy to start with. And how much level of actuarial knowledge do they have? Maybe it will be 0. If you think about a scale from 0 to 10. So, and then from there on, when you know it's maybe a 2, just because people, they know what insurance is, let's say, because they work for an insurance company. So you will, when you know they only have a 2 on actuarial knowledge, 10 would be the most. Well, you will know you can't use your formula. You have to find other ways. You have to summarize. And this is, yeah, it sounds complicated, but this you can train for that, and you will also learn on the job. The important thing I think right now is to be conscious about us, to be aware about these possible challenges for you. And another thing, when I was thinking about the second axiom of Paul Václavic, that every communication has a relationship and a content aspect, you will need to think about how well do I know these people? Do I meet them for the first time, or do I have meetings with them every week? So then it's different when you know them better, and when you have a good relationship with them, it's easier to come across with your ideas. Maybe they will challenge you better. They will be more at ease to ask you stupid questions, And another thing is, the first time when you meet people, you will need to think about what kind of impression do I want to make on them? Do I want to appear credible, serious? I don't move my head much and I speak like this. Or do I want to be like more likable, And believe me, it's not only one or the other, it's somewhere in between. But the first time you meet people, just have a little thought. Do I want to be more like the clown because it's an entertainment meeting? Or do I want more to be serious and seen as very competent? So just a little summary here. Communication is not only about what you communicate, but also about how you communicate it, about the package. And how you communicate will depend on who your audience is. We have the example of summary versus details. We saw that 30% of you said, I have problems to make summaries. And here I can give you maybe a piece of advice. Maybe you're already noticing that in the studies and the different papers that you are writing, that you realize, I do a lot of work, and in the end, it's complicated to write maybe only one page about the whole thing that I did. And I would like to give you the piece of advice that every day, at the end of one day, you write in one sentence a summary of the work that you did today, in one sentence. The next day, you work the whole day. In the evening, you write one sentence. At the end of the week, you look at these 5 sentences, or 7 if you work 7 days a week, and you write one summary, one sentence for all your week. So in doing so, you are training to make summary mode. And in the end, let's say you're working hard for 2 or 3 months on something. In the end, you will know it will be easier for you to produce a summary for that work that you did for the many weeks or the many months. Here also, as a summary, communicate to your audience the way they want to be communicated to. Sometimes you may think, I will communicate the way I want to be communicated to. No, the way they want to be communicated to, because the message needs to get in. Remember the Minja wisdom? The message needs to get in, not just out. Another thing with communication, I haven't spoken about this a lot, but I just give it to you as a really good piece of advice here, is to listen, and to listen. and to listen with the intent of understanding, not only with the intent, oh, I need to prepare my answer to what this person is saying. I need to maybe to defend what I'm saying. No, no, listen with the intent of understanding. And we live in the virtual world, the virtual communication. We could have the whole conference about virtual communication. I want to give you the piece of advice here. Be careful with the light, the microphone, and make sure that you have kind of a clean environment behind you. And this will be surely very helpful when you will be doing interviews to find a job. And I want to do a small thing with you, a small exercise. If you take your phone, wait, I'll get mine. I hit it. I'll do it first. I will go on selfie mode. I will open the camera. I will go on selfie mode to make a video, and I'll do it first. I'll do this. Hi, I'm Carolyn, and I come from Montreal, and I would love to go to travel to Bangkok again, because this is a place where I love to go to. Ciao. You make a short selfie of yourself and you say, do it in your native language. My name is, I grew up in a city, a place that I dream of, that I've been to, that I like, whatever. Really short thing. I give you a few seconds to do that. And I ask you to look at it after you've made the video. I will give you a few seconds for that. It's more fun to do this exercise when we're all in the same room, but I've tried to adapt it to the virtual space. So let's say you've done your video, you've watched it. I ask you now to give it a grade from 1 to 10. And we will start a poll, and I want to know which grade you gave yourself. Recording in progress. So what grade would you give to your first impression video? Let's start it. Very interesting. I do this exercise very often. I'm teaching about communication to German actuaries, and we do this exercise as well. I think it's very important, even if I know that many don't really like to do selfies, or maybe you're from a younger generation, maybe you all like it. I don't know.
Miss Grégorie?
Yes?
There are only 5 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
No problem. Yes. So let's look at the results here. And yes, it's pretty good because, yeah, more than 80% has over a 7. And I think this is very good. The thing that I want to tell you here, if you are not happy with your video, just trying to improve. And if after you've trained a lot, you think you wanted to improve, but you're still not satisfied with it, I want to give you the piece of advice just to learn what you look like on video, because that's what everybody is seeing right now in the virtual world. So I have many other slides, and I think I will go over this one actually. I will continue here. Because I'm sure that you will want your project to be finished on time. You will want the team to achieve its objective and to make the best decision in a specific situation. And I think that here we're talking about the soft skill number 2, the leadership. And it starts with self leadership, with self reflection, being able to think, did I do this properly? Did I act properly here? Do I want to improve that in the future? About knowledge about yourself when you will go to for interviews. People will ask you, what are your strengths? You need to be able to answer to that easily. Regulation of self in the sense we spoke about the energy level at the beginning, about the work-life balance as well. So it starts with you. Be your own best boss, you choose a role model. It's very important where you will be working. Find a mentor in that sense and contribute to psychological safety in a group. Here I will refer you to the Google Aristotle project. So be the role model. This is my advice on the leadership side. And we'll go quickly to the third item, to the third soft skill. And because you will want your findings to get known, you will want your research to be remembered, you will want to make an impact, you will want to deliver state-of-the-art results. And this is the learning and growing mindset. So I will encourage you to be in a constant state of curiosity. It's important to grow, to develop so be open to learn from others, whatever their position is, whether they are new, whether they've been working there for a long time. Be open to other people's knowledge and points of view, because all the knowledge is complementary and we will never know everything. And where it's relevant, integrate the views of others in your own work, maybe with different assumptions or data adjustment or scenario descriptions. And here, very important, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Some people say, I don't like to make decisions. I'm always afraid to make bad decisions. And I always say, a decision is always right in the moment when you take it. Maybe later on, you'll realize you didn't get the results that you wanted to get, but you learn out of that. So sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. So here, the problem with the experts is that they do not know what they do not know. And this is from the well-known book, The Black Swan, from NNT. As a summary, we have communication, number 1, Minjo, the message needs to get in, not just out. Second one, the leadership, be the role model. And the third, a learning and a growing mindset. So as a conclusion, soft skills are the actuary's better half. Allow them to grow and thrive, be aware of them, or you will end up in an unhappy marriage. So I want to wish you all the best. I want to thank you for being here. Just there, just have fun with your career. Make sure you are healthy also the whole time. And I have an offer for you. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And for the first 8 persons who will contact me, I will offer a 30-minute session in the coming weeks. So if you have any questions, I am open to them. First of all, always stay calm. Always stay calm. It doesn't help to panic in 1 second. And one thing I think you can ask, if there are people who have the tactic to say everything is bad, or nothing works, or nothing you've been telling me is. When people generalize, just ask, what is it concretely that doesn't work? Always ask what it is concretely. Because some people, they like to generalize and to say that everything is bad. Maybe it's only one thing that disturbs them. So try to find out what this thing is in asking, what is it concretely for you? Another time, you can ask if somebody is disturbing the group, talking too much, you can ask, would you like to explain to everybody? Would you like to tell everybody what you are talking about? And other times I think you just need to ignore, but it depends, if it's always the same behavior of the same person over and over again, I would suggest you even to have a one-to-one meeting with that person and ask, I have been noticing that. Don't say you disturb all the time. I have been noticing that you often speak or you interrupt me or you say negative comments, and then you say what it does to you. You can say, I don't think it's fair because I see it another way, but I would like to understand better what your what what the problem is, so that we can solve it together. When you say this, we can solve it together, then usually the atmosphere changes, and there's a possibility that the person will maybe behave better in the next meeting. So be open to find a solution with the other person. When you are a leader and you have your team, there are it's I suggest you all make the experience, because you learn a lot about yourself first. At the same time, it's not always easy, because you have pressure from the top, you have pressure from your employees also, and to find always the perfect balance every day, it's not possible. So just live with that. Okay, some days will be good, others will be bad. I think that the most difficult is, and that's what some people say, is to deal with people's feelings. I have a friend of mine, she is new in leading a team, and she said, oh, I don't like to deal with people's feelings. I like it, but I don't control their feelings. I just make sure they have a good work environment, that I'm nice with them, that we work well together. And if they have a bad day, I just respect it that day, but I don't try to solve it for them. So I don't really deal with that. So it's to find yourself, to find your own style of leading the people. Maybe that is difficult. That's why I say, look at people around you, choose role models, have a mentor, so that you get an idea, how can I do it for me, for who I am? Learning German was very difficult. I don't know how I did that actually, but it's possible. And actually, especially when you live in the country, when you are forced to speak that language and to hear it all the time, that you can learn best. So this is one piece of advice. And the second one is, dare to make mistakes. Yes, take some lessons to know the grammar, to learn about words and so on, but dare to make mistakes. When I moved to Germany, I was so afraid of saying wrong things that I would not say anything. So every time I was thinking about of a sentence, I wanted to have it perfect. So I said almost nothing for 2 years. Do you imagine? But when I moved to Sweden, I thought, I will just, I had a bit of structure. I had a few lessons, and I thought, I will speak. I will make mistakes, but at least I will speak. I will exercise. So just there to speak and to write in another language. um, you may have noticed that I was speaking with my hands. I don't always do that. It depends. So my experience is at the beginning in the virtual world, that I was just sitting all the time, and I was like, felt like a robot, or I was not allowed to move because I had to look at the camera like this. but we're getting used to that. So I want to give you the advice, find the best way for you to be in a meeting. Um, if you are presenting, is it better when you sit? Is it better when you're standing? I am standing now because I have more energy and I'm more natural. I feel I can move a little bit, not much because I have to look at the camera, but I feel a movement. I feel I can move my hands as well. Another thing is, I would train a little bit when you are in a virtual meeting. Look at the people, and sometimes from their faces, from their expressions, try to learn, train to get to know them, to get the small signs. I think for me, it was difficult last year, and now I'm getting better and better. Sometimes I get the vibe of the room. While a year ago, I could not really do it, but I trained. And I think that have gotten used to this medium, and we are better also at expressing ourselves and at looking in the camera. Um, I can imagine that with that is meant, I guess that usually a shy person is somebody who can write very well, but has a problem maybe to be in front of a crowd, or has a problem to say something during a meeting. And I just want to tell you, just be confident. You know your stuff. Just you don't have to speak all the time. You may be more an introvert than an extrovert. So just there, maybe you have the goal. You could set a goal. Okay, in every meeting I will speak up once. Whatever, just for you to set yourself a goal and to see, it was okay. And maybe you can increase. Next time I will speak up twice, just to have to see small improvements. Because you won't get from shy to wow, no, but just small. And the goal is not to become wow, it's just to be you, but to get rid of this maybe sensation of, I don't feel well, I feel shy. Just relax. Okay, I'll speak up once at the next meeting. That's a good question. And it's a little bit how, if you followed the IAA event of last week, they had many videos on YouTube like you can all watch, and they were asking these actuaries, what is an international actuary? I think the actuarial profession is great because the numbers, the mathematical stuff that is behind, it's the same universally. So we bring this basis, and then whether we have to explain it in English, in French, in German, in Spanish. So at least we have this basis. An international actuary, I think it's somebody who speaks maybe at least two languages, who is open to open to understand other cultures, open to be in networks with people from other countries. That's also very important. And nowadays in the virtual space, there are plenty of opportunities for you to become an international actuary. I mean, today I'm here. I'm from Canada, living in Portugal, and I speak English to you all. So this is fantastic. You're already on your way to become international actuaries.